You always hear it's smart to have a hobby, right? You always hear it's smart for young people to plant roots where they live.
As simple as that may seem, in this professionally driven, tight-knit family neighborhood in Southwest Denver, the lesson now at Johnson Elementary School is more. It's knowing that planting seeds is not only a smart, healthy hobby, it is a necessity.
So one of the biggest needs that we've seen in this particular neighborhood is an increased need for food. So this is our garden in partnership with Denver Urban Gardens. My name is Lindsay Hazel, and I am the manager of adult self-sufficiency services for the Family and Community Engagement Center. Through the Family and Community Engagement Center, we're able to support families in achieving their goals, whether it be buying their first house, improving their job skills, improving their English. We've seen a huge increase in need around paying rent, and because they're pooling all of their money to pay for rent, then they don't have the resources that they need to buy food for their family.
That's why Project Eat Smart is here.
We wanted to help.
The Faith Center is a lifeline.
The school, as well as the program with FACE, has been one of the greatest helps that I've had during this very difficult time. She was infected with COVID and sick for 5 weeks.
This is Rosa Lopez. She contracted COVID-19 serving food in hospitals.
She lost her work. She couldn't work during that time. She had to send her kids off to stay with her family because she didn't want them to become infected. She didn't receive any economic support. The only thing that she received was help from the school and then help from the FACE Center.
This is Ana Girola.
What would you do without the FACE Center here? Where would you be? How would you be doing?
She said that she would have probably been kicked out of her house. She wouldn't have food because she doesn't have support she's really here alone, and she doesn't really have support from anybody except for the school community.
Ana is a grandmother. Her grandson, Byron, is finally home with family after he was separated from his mother, her daughter, at an immigrant detention center at the border.
A huge myriad of...
And that gets us from the need to the recipe. And how do we help the FACE Center become even more impactful? Because we saw as a team, as Team Eat Smart, that before the pandemic, back in February, the need for the FACE Center and the food pantry was so vital.
Here we are in an elementary school walking to what looks like a closet, but it's not a closet, it's an emergency food pantry.
It is like a rather small space.
They have to have it. The nearest food bank is 2 to 3 miles away. And a lot of these folks don't have vehicles, so they're taking public transit or they're walking. So you can see why the FACE Center is so critical, serving as many as 200 people per day.
A handful of organizations have given the Johnson FACE Center time and resources since it opened a few years ago. Companies like Janus Henderson Investors.
Indian lentils. We've got box mac and cheese.
This year, Janus collected food at their annual post-holiday Have a Heart drive, and they saw what we did.
When you think about it, 2 miles is a really far distance for somebody that doesn't have a car, that can't get to a normal grocery store, let alone have a couple kids and then be able to get those items back.
So we thought, what can we do to help the FACE Center find more companies and organizations like Janus Henderson to help? And what would that help look like? Donation drives or volunteer time or just plain cash?
We came to the conclusion that money can have the biggest impact, especially during a pandemic when it's important to keep people physically away from each other. We had a plan.
We used our collective skills and experience in nonprofits and energy, in fundraising, in government, and in news to put together this sponsorship menu of sorts. And we used our connections to think about what would be a palatable sponsorship menu for potential sponsors.
The different sponsorship levels give potential donors different options, ranging from cum laude to summa cum laude, from $500 to $3,000. The donations can help fill part of the pantry or part of the garden, or they can fund both entirely. And in return, we laid a foundation for organizations to have a tried and true method to share what they've done to help.
So she's just saying thank you so much to everybody that's helped support us. There's so many people that continue to need the support, and she would just really encourage people to continue giving if they're able, because this is really the only way that they're surviving right now. People think like, oh, that people in the U.S. are, they do really well and they don't need the support, but in reality, there's a lot of need within the community. She said it was just absolutely fundamental, the support that she's received received from the Face Center, the impact that it's having in the community. And she just thanks everybody with all of her heart for the donations that we've received and the support that she's received. And she's been able to see the impact that this center has had on many people. So she would just really ask that people would continue giving so that we can continue to have an impact within the community.
Project Eat Smart expects Denver to see how the seeds sown here support our whole community, our whole city, to help our friends and neighbors plant roots where they live, to love where they live, to live smart, and yes, to eat smart too.